Hey everybody, Cory from Aquariumcoop. Today, I want to talk about our hobby. Now, don't you do that every week, Cory? Yeah, I do, but I want to talk about it as a whole thing, looking inward on it. I'm hoping this will be one of the last videos that shows from this office. I'm actually going to turn my fish room into, as someone else pointed out, which I thought was hilarious, an offish. Office, fish room, kind of hybrid combo. And I think, we're post-COVID now and everything, and I think people are getting a little more back to like, hey, I gotta go outside. I can't just be in my fish room all the time. And what I think has happened for me now being in the hobby, both as a hobbyist and in the profession for nearly 20 years, I'm getting wisdom. I'm obtaining wisdom. I've done a lot. I've tried a lot of things. You guys have seen me probably go from 6 aquariums, 640 breeders in a rental I had, to maybe the first fish room in the house where I built with cinder blocks and everything. And then you saw the big build out at my current house I'm at right now, where I had, like 64 ponds plus all the other stuff. You've seen the build out to stores that we've done. And through all of that, I've learned that for me personally, I don't think more is better. And I think for you, more is not better. I think we get a lot of advice that's well-intentioned on the internet, but not good. Now, it seems weird that it's meant well, and not good. And I experience this even in my own circle of people. So I had told Dean, I think I want to scale down the fish room. I just have less time to dedicate to my hobby. I have to work with aquariums, but I have 36 aquariums at home right now. I have to build the retail store expansion. I was in Kentucky for a week building a 100 tank system there, and just feeling overwhelmed. And so as I'm talking with Dean, he goes yeah, we can set up more aquariums, basically. And I'm like, no, I want to slim down. Okay, what if we do 20 big ones? No, I want to slim down. And so I think when we're talking with other hobbyists, we hype each other up in that, this would be cool. This is what I want to do. This is what you should do. And we don't spend a whole lot of time focusing on what is best for them when I'm guiding this person or offering my advice. And so where I think a lot of this comes from, there's simple rules like you can never change enough water. You can never have enough filtration. You can never have too many tanks. And I want to start and continue to be the voice of, yes, you can. You can have too many water changes. You can have too many filters. You can have too many tanks. I don't want to be the doom and gloom guy. It is my job to sell aquariums, to keep people in the hobby, and that's my goal, keep you in the hobby. And I see a lot of people getting burnout, myself included. I've been there and come back from it a few times. And I think one of the common themes is just getting overwhelmed. And so if we step back a few steps and go, well, why did we get into this hobby? What are we enjoying about it? It's going to be different for everybody. I really enjoy building stuff, for instance. I really enjoy ecosystems. I enjoy breeding fish. I enjoy feeding them. I actually enjoy gravel vacuuming. I enjoy making videos. There's a lot of parts for me. But usually people get one or two of these things, or they think they're going to like one or two of these things, and then they find they like another thing or two, right? But what I think we need to focus on as a hobby is how much time do you want to spend on a hobby? Answer that question. It's very difficult for me to answer that question for my hobby. Is it 2 hours a week? 8 hours a week? Is it a whole day? Do I want a whole day of aquarium stuff every week? I think that's too much, actually. I think I would burn out. So, think about that. How many hours a week do you want to spend with your aquariums, right? Knowing that you probably have a job, you probably have other commitments, you probably have other hobbies. How much time actually makes sense? I'm not entirely sure, because for me, it's work. So you could argue 40 hours a week, right? But then also there's the hobby component for me still. There's still some stuff I like to keep that makes no sense for the YouTube channel at all, or my business at all, but I still like it. And so when we step back and go, well, okay, what am I trying to get out of it? I'm trying to be entertained or get enjoyment. How much time or how many aquariums does that take to get that? So if the answer was, I want to spend 3 hours a week, right? Do you need 100 aquariums to do that? Do you need 3 aquariums to do that? Do you need 50 aquariums to do that? How many do you need? I think the answer is somewhere towards that 3 number. Every aquarium you add on to the amount you have, there's diminishing returns. If, like, I've got 36 aquariums. If I add 37th, not very much more enjoyment out of that. Now, if you have 1 and you get 2, you literally might get twice as much enjoyment, because now you can do 2 things, right? But when you get the third one, it doesn't double again. You're splitting your time up 3 ways, right? And so if we take that number of 3 hours, and we put it towards 1 aquarium, we're going to have 1 really good looking aquarium probably after we learn some skills, we buy the plants, we buy the fish, we breed them, we let them grow in, we get a handle on it. And then we get a second aquarium. And now we're splitting the time hour and a half. Probably still 2 pretty darn good looking aquariums. Up to 3, an hour apiece, probably still real good. But if you take that into 10, right? Well, now they're not getting very much time at all. They're starting to look worse. Like, I got an algae bloom to fix over here. I got a thing to fix over here. And that's the problem and the trap that I fall into. 36 aquariums, right? If I made it my goal to, like, I'm going to redo and make sure one's clean every day of the month. Every day I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go, how do I make this better? Do I need to take some fry to the store? Do I need to trim the plants? Do I need to scrub the algae? Do I need to clean the filter? Do I need to change it up a little bit so I enjoy it more? Do I need to whatever it is? If I did that every day for an hour, I'd still have 6 aquariums that never got touched during the month. That would be bad, right? So 36 is clearly too many for me at this point in my life. Now, rewind 20 years ago, 36 was a breeze. I did want all day Saturday, all day Sunday. It was my true passion back then, right? It's still a passion now. I just don't want 16 hours of it every week. So what's an aquarist to do? To step back. Now, I've encountered this in other spots in my life. The great analogy I can use here is my yard, right? I moved from, I think we lived on 1/3 of an acre. I think that's what we had. We had modest sized yard. It took me an hour, start to finish, with weed eating. Perfect, right? And I always wanted a bigger yard. You know how much more I could do with a bigger yard? And now I have it. I've got 10 acres of property and about 2 acres of yard of mowable grass. And let me tell you, 4 hours of mowing without weed eating every week, not so fun. And so what you do is, like, well, I've got my grass taller, so one, I can control weeds and stuff, but I'm spending more time maintaining the yard and less time enjoying the yard. So even though potentially I could do so much more, I'm left with not enough time to enjoy it so much more. Now, there's times in the summer where we got a bunch of people over, and there's a big barbecue and all of that, and I spent all week prepping for it, and that's a good time. But that's what I kind of feel like my fish room is like. I could spend 3 or 4 days making it look really good and enjoy it and bask in it and make some videos and do stuff, but then it starts sliding again. And if I think about a hobby, I want to get the enjoyment out of it, and I do enjoy cleaning. I do enjoy mowing. What I've learned, though, is if I could do it again, I would much rather, and I'm working towards that. I'm filling in some of the grass with trees and stuff because I don't want to spend as much time mowing. I want to get the balance right. How much work do I enjoy? And then the fruits of the work do I enjoy, right? So if you like pizza, how about you make a pizza and you eat pizza? Instead, like, if every time you want a pizza, you had to make 100 pizzas and you only ate 1 pizza, the reward's not worth it anymore, right? And I think that's what happens with aquariums. So how do we get to this point? How do we get to, you can never do too many water changes, you can never have enough aquariums, you can never have enough filters, always more and more and more and more and more. I think we get that from a lot of other hobbies. There's a lot of hobbies where you can buy in excess or obtain in excess and not add more upkeep. So let's say you love to collect gaming stuff, or you love to collect sneakers. Well, you can go to a convention, you can buy 5 pairs on a Saturday, you bring them home and you put them on the shelf. There they are. I can enjoy them. I look at them. I own them. You do the same thing. You go to a fish convention, you buy 5 different types of fish. You got to put them into 3 different aquariums. You got to set up 1 more quarantine when you get home. And now you got 5 more things you got to take care of every week. That is a different hobby than what we're all used to for the most part. Now, We also love to hype each other up. You gotta get this. I love this filter. I love this heater. Oh, you haven't had that fish? You gotta get it. Oh, you only have 26 tanks? I got 112. There's all of that going on. Competition, the FOMO, all that kind of stuff. And I suffer from it too, where, oh, I've got 36 tanks. I still have tanks that have nothing in it over a year later. I can find a fish and I can put it, I don't even have to quarantine because it is its own quarantine tank. I think if I was down at like 10 tanks, one, I spend less time maintaining, still get the feel good of, yeah, they're all looking clean. I clean them, blah, blah, blah. Then I can get the time of enjoying. And I still have enough aquariums to keep a variety. So it's not like I'm just bored with my one. And I can choose to move fish out and move new fish in. Now, another analogy, because I think Analogies help sell this with whatever one you connect with. Think about like having dogs or cats. I'm going to use dogs in this instance because it works a little better for me here. I've got 2 dogs, in fact. Now, you have no dogs. You want to get into the hobby of having a pet. You want to own a dog. You've got 0 to start with. When you go and you get your first dog, it now allows you, hey, I can go on a walk every day. I'm taking this dog on a walk. That'd be great. Good for me, good for the dog. I love that, right? So you get a dog and you're getting tons of enjoyment out of it. It's you and your best bud and you do all the adventures and it's great. And then at some point you go, I want to get another dog because my buddy needs a buddy. Maybe I got to go on vacation and I don't want to feel lonely with the house sitter. So you get another dog, right? And they're best buds and you go on a walk, but you get the same enjoyment out of the walk. You walk 2 dogs, you get the endorphin rush of, hey, I went on a walk. The dogs are happy. But what you don't factor in is, well, 2 dogs, 2 poops, right? So your yard, like, oh, I'm having to clean up the poop twice as often. I got to buy twice as much dog food. I got twice as many vet visits. I got twice as many vet bills. I've got twice as much dog hair. I've got. But the reality is, you're pretty much getting the same enjoyment. Now, there'll be people that fight me to death, and I would too, of like, I love both my dogs. They each have unique personalities and all of that. And I would agree. Basically, my wife has a dog and I have a dog. 2 people, 2 dogs. Works out really well. We can walk them. Yes, we do have twice of all the other stuff. We go with little dogs, so little poops, not as bad, right? Still twice as much. But I would argue, just like aquariums, dogs 3, 4, 5, 6. At a certain point, one person walking 3 dogs is very difficult. 2 is pretty, you can be done. 3 dogs, 4 dogs, 5 dogs gets really hard. And so you start not jeopardizing, but making sacrifice. Well, maybe I walk these 2 dogs today and I walk those 2 dogs tomorrow. And you're still walking dogs every day. You get the enjoyment, right? But they're not as good. And so what I think is, as we add more dogs or more aquariums, we're just diluting what we're going to get done, right? And so I think from other hobbies where you can collect everything and it sits on a shelf as a display or in a closet or maybe it's in an event like, oh, I play baseball after work, right? Softball after work, twice a week. Yeah, you can do a season where you're like, I actually got 2 leagues I'm in. Oh man, it's 4 nights a week. It's starting to be a lot. But then you can just back off, release. Like, I didn't sign up for the 2nd league again. With fish and the infrastructure you set up, you're like, well, I kind of have 9 aquariums and I'm overwhelmed and I need to start paring down. It's hard to do. Which ones to get rid of? These are my pets. I want a good life for them. I want this. I want that, right? And so that's what I'm focused on. I've got a lot of fish and I like them all. There's no doubt about it. Otherwise I wouldn't have them. But does each aquarium does it enhance my hobby? That's the question I want to focus on. Does it enhance it? So if you have no aquariums, adding 1 enhances it for sure. If you have 1 aquarium and you add a second, does it enhance it? I think for most people it will. Now, that being said, if you have 1 tank that's 1,000 gallons and you add 1 10-gallon, does it enhance it? Not so much. But, if you had a 55-gallon aquarium and you add a 29-gallon aquarium, would it enhance it? I think it would. You'd be, oh, I'm doing this and I'm really enjoying it. Oh, and I could add this, right? So maybe you're playing, you're doing your softball after work twice a week and you're going, oh, there's a tournament 5 Saturdays from now. Let's add that. That'd be fun. I'd do that, a home run derby, whatever. Oh, I'll go play with my niece and nephew, right? Whatever. You can add some more because you're in the zone. You're really enjoying it, right? But at a certain point, and it's different for everybody, and it changes over time. New to the hobby, I needed 30 tanks, and I needed more always. Middle of the hobby, kind of needed 30 tanks and always wanted more. Towards the end, I don't know if it's the end of my hobby. I shouldn't say it's the end, but later in my hobby, I'm like, ooh, 30 tanks, kind of a lot. And I still love these though. And so depending on where you are in your journey, I think we lead to burnout. We let it go of like, I don't want to get rid of anything. I just want more and more and more. And eventually you kind of snap. You're like, I'm getting rid of it all. And I think that's an overcorrection as well. And so I think focusing on what is bringing you value. Is it more aquariums? Is it less aquariums? Is it more fish? Is it less fish? And really trying to just identify not how big of a yard do you need. Don't focus on that. How much time do you want to spend maintaining a yard? If you can figure that out and you go, I'm willing to spend 1 hour a week. Now you have the parameters to go, well, how big of a yard should I get? Should I get one with a lot of hills and a lot of trees and a big, big garden that I got to weed all the time? Or should I get a modest yard? It's a rectangle, a riding lawnmower, boom, I'm done in 30 minutes. And then I can weed eat for another 10 minutes. And I could play with my little mini garden for another 10 minutes. And I still had 10 minutes to spare. You might get a lot of value out of that every week in your backyard versus, and that's where I am with my hobby right now. My Saturday, I want it to be go enjoy the yard. Instead, it's go spend 4 hours mowing, come in, eat lunch, go spend another hour weed eating. Oof, now I'm too tired, can't enjoy it. Same with the aquarium hobby. If I want to shoot a video today, right now, and this is full transparency, I got to go spend 8 hours wiping down glass, cleaning sponge filters, hiding products we're testing and modifying and stuff like that, and all the prep work to shoot a video. Now, if I want to go and enjoy it, I just have to kind of clean some stuff. But I'm not enjoying it because I see all the projects I should be doing and I want to do. So instead, I just don't go out there. And so I think if we build a hobby around the time we want to spend, now you can always change it, right? You can go, you know what? I set an hour and I love my hobby so much. I want to spend 2 hours every week. And you do that for 5 years. And then you have a baby, or you change your job, or you move, or you're 76 now, whatever it is. It's okay to say, I used to do all that. Now I want to spend 1 hour. And we see it in all kinds of other hobbies. You know, my wife's, she'll go through Christmas time. It is cookie, pie, cake, baking central around here. There's people coming over. They're having parties. We made 27 billion cookies this weekend. All of that. And then you can hit a different month, nothing, right? Or the average hobby, my wife kind of bakes something once a week. She made the best focaccia bread the other night. Oh, so good. Took 2 days. You got to let it proof and all that. Great. And that's one of her hobbies. She also likes to collect stamps. She gets really into it when the new catalog comes out. New catalog's not out, not so much. And that's all okay. And I think in our fish hobby, we feel guilty because they're live animals. Someone's got to take care of them. We want someone else to take care of them. They have value. They're hard to find. We're collecting them. They're like Pokemon, right? And I think the biggest thing to learn is how much time do we want to spend and reevaluate that often. You know, every few months go, hey, am I still enjoying what I'm doing? Do I need to go up or down? I can turn the knob up or I can turn it down. And it's okay to go, I shut one down. If I set up 10 tanks, I go, I'm not enjoying it still. It's a little bit too much still. I go to 8. Or maybe I have 10 and I go, I really need 12. I really do. Right? That's fine. Right? But finding the balance from 36 down to 10 or 12 or 8 or 5 for me is important. And I think it's important for you too. I see a lot of people, they go from I own 3 aquariums to I'm going to have a fish room with 100 aquariums. And they don't see how many hours is that? And it turning from enjoyment to a job or labor. And so what I think happens long term for all the stores watching this, all the people that are watching this, you know, as a hobbyist too and all that, I think we're better off to be a lifelong hobbyist through the ups and downs, the booms, the busts of our fish rooms or just our aquariums, than we are to get super in for 2 years and get out. Now, there's more species of fish than we'll ever keep. No matter how many aquariums you have, you could have 1,000 aquariums and you'll still never keep them all, right? So why not look at it from the standpoint of, all right, I've got 40 more years I'm going to keep aquariums, and I'm going to have 3. And I've got a great guy that I know who is in his 80s now, and he still has 2 or 3 aquariums, and he still buys fish and loves the hobby in his small way, right? He just likes to observe them. He loves it. He's got cats and he's got fish. That's what he does. And I think that is a more important goal of how do I build this to be a sustainable hobby I'll enjoy for 40 years than how do I conquer the hobby this year and become dominant and then burn out in 2 years. And I realize a lot of us YouTubers, we fuel that conquer the world mentality. There's lots of, building a new fish room because of content. I've done it. I would do it again. No reason not to show people how you do stuff. But that's not the normal. That's the FOMO of like, oh, look at all these people building these big fish rooms. The reality is there are way more people. And as you may have seen in the past, last month, we did polls on Facebook group and YouTube going, how many aquariums are you keeping? I just wanted to poll stuff like, how many are you actually keeping? Not how many do you own? How many are you actually keeping? And the majority of it was like over 50% of all the people that we interacted with are keeping basically 5 or less aquariums. And I feel like that's a very healthy amount. I don't think everyone needs 5. I don't think everybody needs 1 either. But I think that range is pretty darn healthy for what most people want. And as you get above that, I think it's real easy to descend into unhealthy amounts. And I feel like I've been there for a while. It leads to guilt. It leads to burnout. It leads to, mostly just those, I guess, right? Unhappiness. But there is moments of happiness when you get them all clean again, but I've built systems that I can't, right? And so I need to get back to a system where I can. And it's really easy to do. I have 3 aquariums filled with turtles. They're very rare. Nobody else pretty much has them. The success of breeding them makes more. I can't legally sell them. A lot of friends want them. I can give them to them. But I've been doing them for 11 years, and I'm kind of over it. They don't live with live plants. They eat other fish most times. And I got to set up tanks that don't look very good for YouTube, so they're not interesting to me anymore because I've conquered them. I've done it for 11 years. They take up lots of real estate. They're not really good for work. They don't make any money. So when I look at it, I'm like, they're not really bringing any good factor to me. I should unload these. And so that is my plan. I won't have those turtles anymore. And that's going to be 3 of the 36. Like, okay, I've stepped down. I got rid of 3 things that I don't want to do anymore. And there's other stuff like that too. It's not that I don't like them. I think they're a rad pet. I kept them for a long time. I don't need 3 tanks of them for sure. And what I know is I've been down to 1 tank of them many times. Then after a year or 2, I go, well, they're still laying eggs. I should probably hatch some because they're rare and other people want them. And then breeze them up to 3 tanks again. Or if I find appropriate homes, you guys can hatch them and get your 11 years out with them. And that's what I think I need to do is make sure that I'm focusing on species of fish that I'm enjoying currently, that I enjoy maintenancing. I want to take the fish for a walk, basically. I want to maintenance. I want to clean up their poop. I want to do all that. And as long as I'm getting that and, that's, my hour or 2. And I don't know what my number is yet. I will tell you guys when I find it. I know right now it's too much. 8 hours is too much with my current work schedule, travel schedule. I've got family with health issues. I've got other things going on like that 8 hours is too much. Now, when I was 22, 16 hours like it was nothing. I had a 9-to-5 job. I was on call a lot, so I'd get paid. I'd just be cleaning my aquariums. Oh, gotta go. I'm on call. Worked out fine. Now that I have this schedule, though, it's not working out. And I'd say I'd been in maybe denial and wandering around being lost for the last few years for me. You've seen my fish room kind of like, oh, it's not so good, Cory. Like, I know. But I've got this 3,000 square foot building built for fish tanks. How could you not fill it with fish tanks? So now I realize, yep, I'm going to make it Cory's office with a modest amount of aquariums and get back to making it enjoyable. I think if I pull that plan off correctly, I will end up having 15 aquariums I'll get to a point where, hey, this is the sweet spot, but I'm going to start. I'd rather crave spending more time than go, oof, didn't get the number small enough. So I'm hoping you resonate with some of this. Either you're going, yeah, I've got 2 aquariums, I really need 3. You're going, yeah, I got 5 aquariums, but I really wanted a whole fish room. Or maybe you're going, yeah, I have 50 aquariums, and you know what? 30 is the number I should have. I got 2 or 3 rooms filled with aquariums. Maybe I go down to 2. How much time am I spending? Is this the right amount? Are you getting what you want out of it? And that's the biggest thing. Are you getting what you want out of it? If the answer is yes, don't listen to anything I say. If the answer is no, though, spend some time. Think about it. What is it you want? I want to do this. I'm not recommending anybody get out of the hobby. 1, it's bad for my business, but that's not the real reason. The real reason is every time I see people come back, it might be 6 months, might be a year, might be 3 years, might be 10 minutes. I think we all get in this hobby and we actually fall in love with it. So I don't think anyone's actually going to get out and stay out for a very long time. Mostly, I think we just need to fall back into love with what's the right amount of time with this hobby. I love tacos. I eat tacos 7 days in a row. I hate tacos. Twice a week? All right, I could probably do that forever. Crunchy tacos, 2 different, 1 homemade, 1 eating out. Yep, I could probably sustain that forever. The right number of tacos, the right number of aquariums, the right amount of dogs, the right size of yard, the right moderation of anything in the world is the best. Find that number. I hope I've helped you get towards it. And long term, I hope to find my number. And I hope to be the beacon of, hey, find the right number. Don't listen to other people. Yes, take their advice, but more water changes, more tanks, more filters, more better. I don't believe that to be true. I think everybody's got a number, and only you will find that number. So good luck. Let me know what your right number is down in the comments below for today. It'll change tomorrow. It'll be different next week. But today, what's your right number? We'll see you later.